welcome back. And of course an interesting start here. I'm actually on a ferry heading over to the Isle of Mull, where hopefully we'll get some nice landscape images. Of course Mull is iconic for wildlife, so you never know, we might throw some wildlife stuff in there as well. But over here in the van, you can follow our van adventures. I'll put the link up here. But this vlog, we're going to see whether we can pick up some landscape images on the beautiful Island of Mull. Let's go do it. Oh, that's a cold one. While I don't particularly believe that it feels like -20, it's certainly in double figures. Welcome to the frozen north of the Isle of Mull. It is the frozen north, so we're still in blue hour here. So I'm going to work quickly because I'm loving the blue aspects of some of these ice patterns. I might end up going a little bit long. There's some mountain ranges way in the distance, but only if they take on some of that early morning colour. So I think it's a little abstracty type scene I'm going to try to set up for here. 18 to 135 on the XT2. We'll see what we can see. My goodness, it's cold. So, apologies for the voiceover. It was blooming cold that morning. It was showing -20 with the wind chill. I had dashed back to the van to get a second pair of gloves, and that made it quite difficult to operate both the camera equipment and also the audio recording device. Now, either the audio recording device didn't switch on, or the cold got it to die. So basically, I'm overlaying the voice here. Basically what I'm talking about is the fact that I'm looking at a little composition with this little tree. Now, the hope being that it was actually going to take on some light. As you can see at the moment, there is no light actually on the tree. But I just quite liked how you had the little melted bit of the river flowing through the frozen edges. Cold, very cold. Oh my god. You probably won't be able to hear me, but we just had a little burst of light hitting on those trees. I'll probably end up having to do a voiceover in this here because my mic just is too difficult to use with the gloves. I'm almost slipping over in the ice as well, so I'll do a bit of a voiceover of the images afterwards. Light's starting to fade a little bit behind some clouds, but it might come back again. Oh my god, it's cold! Oh my lord, that was cold. A bit of frostbite on my nose. Right, back in the van. Coffee's on. That's a cold one. And as I said earlier, well, you probably didn't hear me because I think my audio equipment was failing. You really get to know how good or how useless some of your kit is, your clothing, in conditions like that. So certainly a bit of an eye-opener. But some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little patterns. My mouth is frozen. On the frozen river. Just beautiful. I say we got some lovely light coming up and hitting the trees as well. So not a bad first morning on Mull. Well, good morning. Hopefully you can hear me okay with that wind. The east from the beast is still blasting pretty well. Just over my shoulder you should be able to see our camping spot from last night. So it was absolutely freezing in the van, or outside the van last night. Yeah, it wasn't freezing inside the van, it was lovely and toasty warm. So I came out to have a quick look at potential compositions. So let me just look to show you where I am. So I really loved these reeds, and I'm going to try to do something with a very, very slightly long exposure just to kind of blur them. And then this little sort of beck, brook beck, is sort of slightly frozen over, so it gives some interest there. And then of course the snow up on the mountains. I'd initially intended to bring the 18 to 135 out, mistakenly brought the 10 to 24, and it was a good mistake because I do need the wide. I don't shoot wide that often, but I do need it in this case. So I'm going to fine tune some compositions here, and then when I've actually taken some images, I'll get back to you and talk you through them. Nice little bit of colour up there, so fingers crossed we start to get some colour above the mountains as well. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so I'm starting to really fine tune that composition, and that light above the mountains is really starting to kind of glow. In fact, there's a little bit of glow coming on the mountain, so it'll be very quick. So again, in a vertical composition, and really trying to emphasize some of these patterns on the ice, with that river, that brook kind of taking our eye into the scene, and just before it disappears off the scene, hopefully the eye then takes onto the mountain. So you can see that we are starting to get some lovely colour there. So I'm going to put you down and hopefully get a couple of images. I'm actually shooting bracketed images. I'm not shooting with any grad at the moment, so I'm just shooting bracketed images with the purpose being to blend in post. Okay, so I'm just actually waiting. Let me just turn you around. I'm just actually waiting for this larger bank of clouds to get actually over the snow-capped mountain, because as you can see, and as is obvious, those clouds are actually taking on more colour. So I'm just being patient. This is still my composition, still in a vertical position, still doing 3 exposures, and hopefully still just getting a little bit of the movement in those reeds. But I really just want to wait for this larger bank of clouds. Now, it is starting to kind of get over the peak now, so I'm going to put you away in a moment. The risk is, of course, that by the time it kind of mostly gets above here, maybe that morning glow will have gone, but we'll see. Ideally, it would also have some glow on the actual mountaintop itself. The issue being that because I'm using such a wide lens, there is quite a lot of the sort of frame that doesn't have any cloud in it, which leaves it a bit bland perhaps. So that's why I'm just waiting, patiently waiting for that cloud to kind of come across. Of course, as it comes across, it might lose some of that colour as well, but hey, you can only work what you're given with. So again, let me put you away, wait and see what happens. Back in a minute. So we had a little bit of light up there on the peaks, starting to lose some of the lovely pink glow in the clouds, but a little bit of light up in the snow. So I'm actually trying now for a bit of a horizontal composition, again using this wider bit of the frozen brook or beck, leading us down in, and then we actually had some lovely light just in the valley there. Not sure whether there's maybe a bit of drizzle or something happening there that was just kind of lighting things up, and then hopefully with the eye sweeping kind of back around onto those mountains where we actually start to get a little bit of light. Again, shooting bracketed exposures, with the idea being blending in post. It is absolutely freezing. That wind chill is Baltic, as a wise man once said. In fact, I actually feel as if my face is freezing and I'm struggling to speak. Now, the nice thing about, once again, I'll keep saying this, is the van is just kind of over there. You should just be able to see the little silver dot, and that's where we camped out last night. Toasty warm in there with chocolate chip pancakes and coffee, I reckon. So I think actually now probably most of that light has gone. I'm going to suggest there's a pretty heavy bank of clouds on the horizon. I obviously can't see the horizon. I need to cut this short anyway because there's absolutely zero reception on this side of the island. So we're going to head over to the east coast to allow me to do a little bit of work. But it's just beautiful here, just beautiful. And the really fantastic thing I love about a location like this is it isn't iconic. You know, you're not going to have hordes and hordes and hordes of people. And just last night we had stunning views of an otter, big male otter, just wandering by the van, doing a bit of scent marking in and out of the out of the loch. Just gorgeous. White-tailed sea eagles kind of zooping up in the sky above us. And all of this to myself to do photography with. I love these reeds. I love the movement of these reeds. Kind of reminds me of what some of David Ward's earlier work. You just have that kind of movement in the reeds, and maybe that's what kind of drew my eye to this location. I'm not saying in the slightest my image is going to be anywhere near his standard. An absolute master in composition. David Ward, go check out his website. I'll put a link in the show notes below. But I'm pretty sure there's some of his stuff that is this kind of feeling going on, kind of frozen river, or maybe movement in the river, bit of reeds, and then obviously you've got the snow-capped mountains. Right, I think this will do me for this location for now. We probably will come back here and I'll continue to work some of this as well. But yeah, back to the van, chocolate chip pancakes and a cup of coffee. Catch up in a bit.